Hey guys, welcome back to G-Rod Grills. My name is Gerardo and this is my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a smoked pork shoulder. Now, pork shoulder is one of my favorite things to make because it's so easy and it's very forgiving. Even if you screw it up, it's going to be really good. But don't worry, you're not going to screw it up. I'm going to walk you step by step to how I prepare mine and right through to the shred, and you'll see it's super easy to get a nice smoky, tender, and juicy pork shoulder. And you can use this for everything. I'm going to be using the meat for probably pulled pork sandwiches tonight. I am also going to make some tacos with it. My buddy Darren at Ash Kickin' Barbecue makes some killer spring rolls with it. So there's so many different things you can make with it. With football playoffs in the go, and you know, any kind of gathering you're gonna have, the Super Bowl's coming up. You make this ahead of time and you have it ready to go. There's so many different things you can make with it. So trust me, it's gonna be delicious. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. If you like what you see here today, make sure you hit that like button and leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear what you think of this recipe, and or if you have any tips for me, maybe I can do it better. I know some of you are team hot and fast. I'm low and slow, but hey, there's no right way to barbecue, right? So that's the beauty of it. Let's get going. All right, so here we go. So I'm actually gonna be smoking this tomorrow. So I wanna let the rubs kind of sit on it and kind of brine this pork shoulder overnight in the fridge. So I'm going to season it, I'm going to wrap it, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and tomorrow morning when we're ready to go to start to smoke, we're gonna pull it out. I'm not gonna let it get to room temperature or anything like that. I'm gonna pull it out just as my smoker gets the temperature, and then we're going to throw it in there. But the first things first, what we're going to do is I'm going to score the cap. There really isn't a lot of trimming to do in this. My butcher did a pretty sweet job. Maybe a little bit of this I'm gonna take off. So I might do that now. You really don't have to do any trimming. You don't really need to. Like, this is pretty clean as is. Yeah, this will be fine. Yeah, I'm not going to trim much to it. I'm just going to do that. I know that there is folks out there that are firmly on the fat side down. I am not on that side. I've done them both ways. I don't really find any huge benefit to fat side down. I'm also not cooking hot and fast, so I don't really run a huge risk of the heat damaging the meat or needing the fat to protect it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to smoke this fat cap up. I'm going to score it. I find that once it's finished and that score kind of crisp up and it all pulls apart, it looks better, and doesn't taste any different, but it looks better. And I think for me, I like it. I like it to be prettier. So, and this is nothing fancy. You just want to do diamond shapes, kind of crisscross it, and don't go too deep. You don't want to cut too far into the flesh. Just get yourself a nice sharp knife. I'm using here a Tool Cutlery chef's knife. If you need one, Tool does make all sorts of different knives. There's a code in the comments below you can use for you'll get 15% off and free shipping worldwide. So if you're in the need for a good affordable knife, give them a shot. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this side because that's my non-presentation side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of binder. I'm just using regular old yellow mustard. Don't have to worry about too much about how much you use. Just put it on there, get it slathered on. Pork can take the mustard. You're never going to taste the mustard after the cook. This will just help the rub kind of bind to the meat. Then for rubs, I'm actually going to use 2 different rubs. So I like the different layers and flavor. So what I'm going to be using is I'm going to start off by throwing on a little bit of Pit Boss's Sweet Rib Rub. I really like this on pork. I think it tastes really good and adds a nice little bit of sweetness to it. And then I'm going to layer on top honey barbecue rub by Suckle Busters. This is also a sweet rub as well. If you haven't figured it out, I like pork to be a little bit sweet for me. So this also will give me a little bit of color. As you'll see, the Pit Boss one doesn't have a whole lot of color, but the Suckle Busters does. So, and season liberally throughout. Sit on that one, and then we're gonna go also fairly liberal with the Suckle Busters rub. If you're using multiple rubs, one thing you want to keep in mind is the size of the grain. What I find is in my cooks that I start off with the one that's more fine or a little finer grind to start off with, and then kind of add on the coarser rub. I find that it makes a nicer bark with the coarser rub on top, and it looks better. It may have something to do as well with how it absorbs into the meat. I'm not really sure. I'm not a scientist, but that's how I do them. You can do it however you like. Just make sure you get it all seasoned on all sides. And then we do it again on this side. Now on this side, we want to make sure that, you know, we in our score lines here, we kind of spread it out a little bit so that our rub gets into those grooves. You can use any rub. You don't have to use a commercial rub. You can make your own. I like pork to be a little sweet, so I go on the sweeter side. Up to you. If you like it more savory, don't use anything with as much sugar in it. But that's pretty much it. That's all we're gonna do to prep. From here, I'm going to wrap it up in some plastic wrap, put it in on a cookie sheet, and then throw it in the fridge until tomorrow morning. All right, so here we are. So it's about 5:20 in the morning, and we got our Pit Boss 440 rolling at 250. We're just gonna put this pork shoulder on. So what we've got here is, let's see, I've put my meter wireless thermometer in there. I'm gonna keep this in there to monitor my temperatures till I get to about 160, 165, and then I'm gonna look at it and see where it's at, and then look at wrapping. I'm really just using the temperature as a guideline. I'm not going to use it as a kind of like a hard rule. It's what we're looking for is good color on the bark. Okay, so we're about 4 hours into this cook here, and we're just gonna have a look. I haven't looked at it since I put it in this morning, so let's have a look. Take a look. Oh, she's looking real nice. Just gonna give it a little spritz. This is a 50-50 apple juice and apple cider mix. Just gonna give her a spin as well. Looking real good. You see how that scoring on the fat cap started to pull apart, and it's going to give you the nice beautiful look there. Hopefully you can see with all the steam. Go ahead and close this. It's going to be real nice. Alright, so we're about 5.5 hours into this cook. As you can see here, hopefully you can see, about 150 degrees internal according to my meter. We're still not quite there yet. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to check it here, give it another spritz, and we're just looking for color. We'll have a look to see what's going on. It's looking pretty good. Let's give her a little spritz. I'll probably have to spritz one more time here. Before it's time, but so far so good, looking pretty good. Alright, so internal temperature is currently reading at around 165. Let's just have a look and see what it looks like and see if we're ready to go to wrap. Well, I think it looks pretty good here. Try to pull it out so you can see it a little better. That color looks pretty good for what I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this and wrap it, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so here we are. This is a pretty simple process. I'm gonna I have a tin foil underneath here, and that's just to catch in case the foil rips. I want to catch any of the dripping so it doesn't get all over the barbecue. But I'm gonna pull this out because I'm gonna put it back in later. And essentially to this, what we're going to do is we're going to add about 1/4 cup of our spritzing liquid, which was just half and half apple cider and apple juice. So apple cider vinegar. Yeah, it smells good. A little bit more. You just want enough so that it'll kind of braise it a little bit. I'm going to put 2 pads of butter just over top. And this is very similar to how you would do your ribs essentially, except that I'm not putting it on the bottom or anything. I'm just going to drizzle it with honey a little bit. You can skip this if you're not into the sweeter pork. If you're more into savory, then yeah, I would still add my liquid and do this part, do the butter. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit more of the Suckle Busters rub that we used when we seasoned it. And this one is the honey barbecue rub. So just kind of on top there. And that's pretty much it. And from here, just gonna wrap it as tight as I can. And then I'm just gonna put the probe back in and throw it back on. And I'm gonna use the probe again, temperature as a gauge. Probably when it starts getting to 195-ish, I'm gonna go back out there and start kind of poking it. But other than that, I'm going to leave it as is. I am going to turn my temperature up to about 300 degrees. And just because once it's in here, I've got all the smoke that I'm going to get. And I just kind of want to get this done at this point. So at 300, let her roll. All right, so I got an alert saying we're at about 195. So we're just gonna give it a few pokes. I've got a instant read. Open this up a little bit just to get to that bottom layer. I think I'm there. And just kind of feel around. A couple pieces of bone there. Oh, and it's going in pretty much with no effort. So I'm gonna call this done because that is pure butter. Here you look at, we're just under 200 degrees. So we're gonna pull it off, let it rest for a little bit, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so here we are. So we smoked this for about 7-ish hours or so. We wrapped it up, and now it's ready to go here. So I probed it. I probed it with my instant read. It was in and out like butter. Internal temperature was reading around 200. So you know, we had it. Our original meter was set to 203. Obviously, we didn't get there, but that's okay. You really want to go for tenderness. It's not really about temperature. It's tenderness. Once that probe goes in and out like butter, you're done. So let's get in here and see. Just gonna find the bone here. Pour over. Our bone's on this side here. And it just kind of all just came apart here. Check it out. Oh, dogs will get it. But there it is, you know, nice and clean off there. I'll put that down. And you know, it just kind of pretty much pulls it's still really hot. Pulls itself. Super tender, super moist. Oh, so good. Can't wait to eat more. Absolutely fantastic. If you like what you saw here, make sure you hit that like button and please consider subscribing. If you have any questions or any comments, drop them in the comments below. And until next time, as always, we'll catch you on the next G-Rod Grills.